Hello, good evening, neighbors, friends, brothers and sisters. Welcome again. Another Friday from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. joining you as your member provincial parliament. My name is Faisal Hassan, and I know that last Friday I didn't join you because I was participating our Ontario NDP convention, and I have a lot of good news things to talk to you about. But before I begin, I would like to acknowledge at this time the land that we now know as York Southwestern is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuits, and Métis people. Welcome, folks. Those who are joining on Instagram, welcome, and Regu, welcome, and I'm doing fine. Thank you, and hope you're doing well as well. Thank you, folks. Those who are just joined, this is your member provincial parliament, Faisal Hassan, joining you again. Another Friday from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Bring your coffee, bring your tea, bring any beverages you like, and let us talk, folks. It is that time that I update you about the work of the week, and also to hear your concerns, your ideas, your thoughts, and also to take also some questions as well. And thank you. And last week I already informed you that we were busy with the Ontario NDP convention, and I was there, so I couldn't join you. But quickly before I begin our program tonight, just quick announcement that the applications actually for our youth council is closed at the moment, and thank you those young members of our community who have applied. Thank you to you all. And again, also this week also was also the Lunar New Year, and the Lunar New Year celebrations also took place in our community, and I want to wish all those celebrating health, happiness, good fortune, and prosperity in the new year. I hope you find an opportunity to gather with extended family and enjoy a safe celebration. In the new year, I look forward to continue to serve our community, to listen to your voices, and fight for you at Queen's Park. And this is also the year of the tiger. Welcome. Welcome, folks who are joining on Instagram, and also those who are also joining Twitter, those who are joining also Faisal Hassan Twitter, Faisal Hassan Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube, and Faisal Hassan NDP Facebook page. Welcome, folks, those who are joining also Facebook page. And also, folks, this month is also a Black History Month. And Mr. President now says to you all through joining us on Instagram, Happy Black History Month. And says to me, sir, well, you can call me Faisal Hassan or Faisal, brother. Thank you. And thank you to you. And also a happy Black History Month. And last night, folks, I held a conversation of the community leaders and celebration of the Black History Month. And we joined local leaders to participate a conversation centering on our community of York Southwestern. And those distinguished and leaders in our community also included a Juno Award winner and Planet Africa Entertainment Award winner, Adam Solomon, who has been also a teacher and teaching young people about music, and also who is also lives in our community. Also Frontlines Executive Director, Station Frederick, also joined us, and also children's author, Ayan Francis, and I think I have a copy of her last book here. Ayan Francis joined us, and this is her last book, folks. It is, if you can see it, folks. And here it is, folks, on Instagram. You can see that. Her book is ABC, Where Are We? Africa. And her last book was also ABC, Where Are We? West Indies. folks support her, Ayana Francis, and you can also supporting by going travelingfitbooks.com, and you can also follow her on Instagram, traveling fits books, and that's also awesome. Ayana Francis joined. Also, a Canadian Union of Postal Workers, Toronto local secretary and treasurer, Abdi Haji Yusuf. Also, he is also Toronto and York Region Labour Council secretary, has also joined, and also members of the Black Farmers Collective, Jacqueline and Noel, also have joined us last night. We carried live, folks. If you have missed it, you can still actually have access to through YouTube, or you could also access it as well on my Facebook, Faisal Hassan NDP, Twitter, Faisal Hassan NDP as well, and also LinkedIn. You can do that. And folks also joining from Instagram, Abdi says, Mr. Hassan, you always are doing a wonderful job for the community. Well, thank you, Abdul Fattah, for your encouraging words. And I'm not gonna, just take for your support for granted. I'm gonna work very hard to earn your trust and confidence. And definitely this community have been neglected the last 15 years, as you know. And we need to make things better. And the last 4 years has been also a difficult, folks. And hopefully, June we'll have an NDP government, and an NDP government headed by my leader, Andrea Horvat. Folks, tonight is a busy night, and wanted to hear your thoughts as well. But also, I want to also talk to you as well, the week's work as well, quickly. And Bianca says, hello, Mr. Hassan. Hello, folks in the Instagram, Faisal Hassan NDP, are active and are already engaged, and the same as also Facebook page, Faisal Hassan, and Twitter, and also LinkedIn and YouTube. This past weekend, folks, I was thrilled to join 100 of colleagues and friends for the Ontario NDP Policy Convention, for it to take place during the month of February, when we celebrate Black History Month. We're quite appropriate, folks. We have become accustomed to celebrating historical Black trailblazers, such as Lincoln Alexander, who served as the first Black member of Parliament and the first Black cabinet minister, or Sanana Akande, who was the first Black woman in Canada to serve as cabinet minister as a member of the Ontario Legislative Assembly and Ontario government. The long history of contributions of Black Canadians is truly worthy of celebration. And not just in the month of February. We celebrate Black History Month every day, 365 days of the year. I appreciate these pioneers who, not only for what they have accomplished, but for doors that they have opened for other Black leaders and innovators to thrive. I am proud that our party was able to elect a diverse group of MPPs from right across our province in the last election. It allowed us to form the first Black caucus in Ontario's history, a caucus that I am proud to serve as a member of. This weekend, our party continued break ground by electing our first Black party president, Janelle Brady, to lead us into the next election and beyond. Janelle is an anti-racist educator, activist, and researcher. She has been at the forefront of social justice movements in Ontario as a community organizer, and has worked tirelessly to advocate in support of the voiceless in our province. She has been served as a vice president of the party and led the charge on several equity initiatives that have strengthened our party's ability to represent all Ontarians. I was so proud to support her candidacy and look forward to her successful leadership. So that's also the first Black woman elected on the Ontario leadership, Ontario NDP president. And that is, folks, a very good news also in the month of October, where we celebrate Black History Month. Folks who are joining on Facebook, welcome. Trisha, welcome. Kali, welcome. Ayan, welcome. And everyone also, Binky also welcome on Instagram as well. Well, Black History Month is about more than honoring the past. It is about acknowledging the contributions of today's Black leaders and fostering a future that opens more doors for Black excellence in the future. And this Thursday, I have hosted a virtual celebration of Black History Month, where I invited local leaders to participate in a conversation centering what they do in our community, and specifically our community of York Southwestern. I was joined by Juno Award nominee Adam Salomon, Frontline's Executive Director is Station Frederick, children's author Ayan Francis, and Canadian Union of Postal Workers Secretary and Treasurer Abdi Haji Yusuf, and also the Secretary of the Toronto York Region Labour Council. And that was an excellent, and also the members of the Black Farmers Collective also have joined, and that was an excellent, folks, and I've discussed about that. Ayan Ainab says, good evening to you all. Well, good evening to you as well, Ayan, and thank you for joining us this evening. And Ayan is joining us on Facebook page, Faisal Hassan, NDP. Folks, those who are joining, if you just join, you're joining your member provincial parliament, Faisal Hassan. Good evening, neighbors, friends, brothers and sisters, welcome. And also, folks, the Ontario NDP convention this past Saturday, the Federation of the Labour President, Party Courts, that is Ontario Federation of Labour, Party Courts, enthusiastically endorsed my leader, Andrea Horvath, for Premier on behalf of Ontario's largest labour organisation. COTSM and the Ontario Federation of Labour present over 1 million Ontario workers from more than 1,500 unions and affiliated locals. The OFL voted at their annual convention in November 2021 to go all in on Andrea Horvath and the NDP. Well, if you have missed it, folks, that speaking at the Ontario NDP convention this past Saturday, you could watch it, my Facebook, Faisal Hassan NDP, there as well. And thank you, folks, and addressing also our convention. So that's also another important note. Also on Sunday, over 75% of delegates to the Ontario NDP convention gave an enthusiastic thumbs up to my leader, Andrea Horvath, and her leadership. And Andrea has done a fantastic job, as you know, as you have been following my leader's work. And as soon as she was elected, every election, she has increased our numbers of members of elected members. And the last election, we made history, the largest ever official opposition in the Ontario history. And this coming election, I think we are better positioned to make that history again and elect Andrea Horvath as Premier of Ontario, an NDP government, folks. And earlier in the day, my leader on Sunday afternoon also delivered a jubilant speech to more than 1,100 delegates, highlighting NDP solutions, including a $20 minimum wage, $10 per day childcare, paid sick days, comprehensive platform to make homes more affordable, a plan to build a fully public and community-based home care, and a long-term care system, and Ontario's strongest ever climate plan. And folks, if you have missed that, you can check that also OntarioNDP.ca. So you can watch it again there as well. Well, folks, those who are joining on Instagram, Bianca33 says, what is your position on the convey, Honorable MP? Well, thank you very much for asking that question. I think I have also answered here the first week when folks went to Ottawa, and I think now it is getting, things out of hand. We need to work together to solve these issues together. And I have been listening to you guys, and we need to make sure that we have to move Ontario forward. And folks, also another issue that is very important is the funding for our York Memo and rebuilding of our school, which is very important. And I've also reported on my communications with you guys many times about the government recent announced funding to help with the rebuild York Memo Collegiate, our beloved York Memo, which is also, a school that have been named after our fallen soldiers, and we need that school to be built in its original structure, and also to continue that. And now it's going to be expanded as well. This is a positive news and a testament to the advocacy of the community, insisting that this community gym is rebuilt in all its glory. And I'm happy that we are one step closer to returning our beloved school to all its glory, and for the community support as I advocate for resources at Queen's Park. There is more work to be done, and I'm committed to ensuring that rebuild York Memorial Collegiate Institute reflects the desires of students and local residents while honoring its rich history and tradition. Quickly, folks, Instagram are asking questions, and I think Bianca says, yes, we need to move Ontario forward. Let us remove mandates, he comments as well. And well, thank you for for sharing your thoughts. But I think if I could also, Bianca, comment on this also. You see, the premier he hasn't been seen at all, for quite some time, and that to me is not a leadership. We need Andrew Horvath to be the premier of this province come June, and I'm looking forward working with you, Bianca, and others to bring an NDP government to June to and put the priorities of this community and across Ontario putting for the better. And folks, also Eglinton small businesses have struggled, as you know, on the Eglinton Cross corridor, and that corridor has been going on for 12 years. This project have begun with the Liberals and also continued with Ford Conservatives, and we know our businesses have struggled, especially, Little Jamaica and also Kilsdale have impacted heavily on this. This week, I was happy to join my friend and colleague, MPP Jill Andrew, the riding of Toronto St. Paul's, as we met with the Black Business and Professional Association. They're doing great work to support struggling small businesses dealing with the impact of Eglinton Crosstown constructions. I have asked the government repeatedly to step up and support small businesses along the Eglinton Crosstown corridor that have been hanging on by a thread. These businesses were ignored prior to the pandemic, and the COVID-19 has only amplified the impact on their businesses. Our mainstream businesses deserve more than ballooning, death, or shattering shops. We can do more, and I will continue to advocate funding and compensation for those impacted construction in businesses, especially small businesses in our community. And I know many of them have struggled and still are struggling. I've been in touch also the Eglinton Hill BIA, and they have said they need support. And this government headed Premier Ford has not been supporting them. I know that the Minister of Transportation have recently allocated $3 million, and we have been informed already 2 million have been already spent. We don't know what it has been spent. And we need a transparency and accountability. They have said that there's only 1 million left. And now this 1 million, now they have created a committee, Metrolink in the city of Toronto, TABA, and the also Toronto Eglinton BIAs, and also elected members of the also affected areas. And I'm happy to also sit at that table to speak on behalf of our community and advocating the businesses that are affected in our community, Eglinton Hills, and also Mount Dennis BIA as well, that we're also gaining folks, the 3 stations, Caledonia and Kilsdale and Mount Dennis, which also Mount Dennis is going to be also a major hub. Well, Brandon, welcome. Brandon says, good evening, MPP Faisal Hassan. Good evening, Brandon. Thank you. Thank you, Brandon. Well, thank you, folks. Those who are joining, thank you. Those who are joining from Instagram, Faisal Hassan NDP, LinkedIn, welcome. Twitter, Faisal Hassan, welcome. And also Faisal Hassan page, welcome as well. Well, folks, the rapid testing kits. The government recently announced that the rapid testing kits will be made available to residents from Shoppers Drug Mart locations and local grocery stores. But we are seeing cases of abuse, such as Walmart, that is requiring a minimum of $35 online purchase for access to this fee, to this free rapid tests. This is not good enough, folks. The government must allow access to these important pandemic fighting tools through more avenues, such as senior facilities, community centers, and libraries. They also need to provide an option to residents to order kits through the mail, folks. And once again, the government is choosing to place the interests of corporations in the front of the need of the community. And this approach must come to an end. And we can also make it available to the libraries, community centers, and senior centers, folks. Give me a minute. Well, thank you, folks. And those who've just joined, you are joining your member provincial parliament, Faisal Hassan, and I join you every Friday from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. to hear your concerns. Bring, your coffee, your tea, any beverages you like. And I would like to also update you the work of the week, and also to hear your thoughts, your suggestions, your ideas. And if you have questions, if I have the time, if I have enough time also to also read some of your comments as well. Recently, the CBC News reported the sale of valuable Metrolink land next to Port Credit Goa Station for 64.5 million. The sale moved forward without any conditions and no strings attached. It served as a missed opportunity to provide relief to families who continue to deal with soaring housing crisis. The scale of government land must benefit the community at large and serve the interest of the residents, not just speculators and housing developers. The government has failed to live up to their responsibility to provide more affordable housing, and this must change. If we are to tackle the housing crisis in Ontario, we must tackle speculators and flippers and have also a strong housing plan. Folks, I have been speaking to you about our housing plan. We have talked about many times since last year, and if you don't have it, a copy, you can check it out, Ontario NDP. You can just even put any search engine, Ontario NDP housing plan. And there you have it. And if you have any suggestions, any ideas, you can also share with me. Valerie, welcome. Valerie, for joining, and also others, also Jareen, also welcome. And an Ontario court awarded elementary teachers last week 103.1 million in remediation for the Bill 115. And that Bill 115, folks, the bill which was passed by former Premier Dalton McGuinty, and the Kathleen Wynne and Del Duca, the Ontario Liberal government in 2012 forced contracts on teachers and staff and froze their pay. Courts determined it to be a violation of collective bargaining rights, resulting the court's ruling. This award brings the total remediation to $213 million when factoring in prior rulings in favor of high school teachers and staff. When the Liberal government moved forward with this legislation decades ago, Labour leaders predicted that this day would come, and it did. It was an obvious and just piece of legislation meant to limit earnings, bypass the right of Ontarians to collective bargaining. And that was, folks, the Liberal legacy as well. They are not pro-union and pro-workers, teachers, healthcare workers. So Bill 115 was disrespectful to teachers and staff and expressed exactly how the government undervalued their contributions to our education system. We all witnessed educators pivot at the start of the pandemic and do incredible work to deliver the best experience possible under very difficult circumstances. When they did return to the classroom, they did so without the investments and support needed to keep themselves and their families safe. They have sacrificed over and over again for the benefit of the students, opposing cuts that resulted in exploding class sizes. Instead of respect, the Wayne government turned their backs and refused to fix the injustices of Bill 115, or apologize for their mistakes. Even worse, they laid the groundwork for the Premier to expose nurses and healthcare workers to the very same unfair treatment. Fast forward to the current day, and we see the Ford government using Bill 124 to restrict the rights of healthcare workers and limit their ability to negotiate a fair wage. These workers are also opposing this hurtful bill in courts, and we should expect that the end result will be no different. In a few short years, the government will be found to have violated their collective bargaining rights, and remediation will have to be paid. It doesn't have to be this way, folks. The government can stop interfering and respect nurses by repealing Bill 124 now. We can avoid the mistakes of the past and costly remediation in the future. It requires a government that views the labor of teachers and nurses alike as valuable and important. We need to treat these heroes like partners, not adversaries. Our province will be much better off when we begin to treat the workers of this province with respect they deserve. Welcome, meet me at the crossroad. Joining me from Instagram and says, hello, Honorable Faisal Hassan. Hello, meet me at the crossroads. And quickly, Valerie has a question on Facebook, Faisal Hassan NDP, and says, affordable housing is a necessity. Too many children are living in homes that should be condemned. And that's a very important question. And also, Valerie, I have another question. First, I'll deal your first question. It's true. And I think we need a bit background and a bit of history about housing or affordable housing. You know, the federal liberals and the Red Book under John Crochet and Martin, his finance minister then he became after that a prime minister. They promised that they're going to tackle many issues, and housing and affordable housing, they said that's not their responsibility. And 1994, 1993, 1994, they downloaded to provincial governments. And these provincial governments, they downloaded, including our province of Ontario, by downloading, then at that time, Mike Harris was the premier. And what does Mike Harris do? He downloaded 2 municipalities. Municipalities like our municipality of City of Toronto. And we've seen the waiting list for affordable housing is over 100,000, because cities like municipalities like Toronto cannot handle. They need the provincial government, they need the federal government. And now, under the Trudeau Liberals, they have for the first time appointed a housing minister. We have to yet to know what their plan is about housing. And we need to exactly deliver results and to tackle flippers, speculators, and also build more affordable housing and also give people more options. And if you look our plan, Valerie, our plan provides many options. And that is also folks who make less than 200,000, they are able to actually eligible to borrow 10% equity of the worth of the house they are buying. Many young people cannot actually save enough money to put for down payment. By providing that, it provides them ability to own their place. Also, by building more co-ops and also building also more options for affordable housing, and making sure that also we tackle these above guidelines, where the landlords every year they're just applying above guideline increases, where rent is continuously uncontrolled. By bringing also a rent control, by making sure also allowing more spaces and more options, people to give also a mom and pop an opportunity to also become landlords as well. And another question Valerie quickly has is, the teachers are coping with more children with disabilities than any previous generations. And also, I will also either read the other comments. Healthcare workers deserve much respect. Most people could not work jobs that require them to save lives. Absolutely. These are our frontline workers, and this government, you know, Ford Conservatives, they say these frontline workers, essential workers, they say they are heroes, they say they are champions. And if that is the case, we want them to treat them as such, and rebuild Bill 124, provide them a living wage. You know, I'll just go quickly, folks who are coming. Valerie, thank you for your comments, and I really appreciate for joining me this evening as well. And quickly here, folks here, Meet Me Crossroads says welcome, and says quickly, that's true. The children need to be safe and healthy and live in a good environment. It is good for children's mental health to live on a decent place. Absolutely. And yes, the cost of housing are rising, and we need something to do about it. Absolutely. And also welcome Traveling Fit Books. Francis, Ayana Francis have just joined. Folks, I want to share with her book, our children's author. Here is Francis's book. You can see that, ABC, Where Are We, Africa? And her previous book is called ABC, Where Are We, West Indies? And folks, Instagram, here it is. She's a local Western children's author, and this book has a beautiful illustrations. Support her, and you can actually check it out at www.travelingfitbooks.com, or you can follow her Instagram, Traveling Fit Books, as well, to follow her Instagram. And this book has so much, a lot of beautiful illustrations, folks. As you can see, lovely illustrations there. You see, and I'm just trying to also share with folks on Instagram there. You see, this is also a Black History Month, folks, and we have been celebrating not only February, but 365 Black History Month. So you can also support Ayana Francis for a gift for a niece or a nephew. These beautiful illustrations, folks. You can see here, you can just watch that. There it is. Yes. So I can just share with you quickly. And this is also Ayana have just joined us also quickly. And also, folks, you can get the book as well. Our beloved and historical bookstore, Squibbles, where, Suri, my friend, runs it. You can actually, also, you can get there your copy as well. It's also opposite of my constituency office, the west side. So there you have it, folks. And that is ABC, Where Are We, Africa, and also ABC, Where Are We, West Indies. And you can also get those also Squibbles, or you can also order travelingfootbooks.com. Okay, folks. So that's also supporting also a children's author, Ayana Francis, folks. It is a good thing. Bob, welcome, and also Bob says, "Good evening. Predator landlords are forcing many of us out of our communities' homes." And Frank Marcellus says, "Why is the NDP not demanding removal of mandates?" And Fellery says, "These books would also be fabulous for daycares and schools." Beautiful. Yes, that's very good. Well, thank you all for your comments, and I appreciate that, and for sharing your thoughts. And those who are just joining, Facebook, Faisal Hassan NDP, Twitter, Faisal Hassan NDP, Instagram, Faisal Hassan NDP, and also LinkedIn, and also YouTube. We are trying our best to reach where you are, all those spaces and forums where we can actually connect you every Friday from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. to hear your concerns as well. And I think it's very important that we listen, people like Frank Marcellus and everybody else, to express peacefully their thoughts and their opinions. And I think that's a positive. But and also, folks, another issue I want to talk to you about is the another independent agency of the Ontario legislature is raising questions about the government's approach to spending during the pandemic. The Financial Accountability Officer, Peter Wolfman, is an officer of the Assembly, selected with an approval of a panel composed of one member from each party, and provides independent analysis of Ontario's finances and trends in provincial economy. Their latest budget outlook update revealed the Ford government is short-changing key areas like healthcare and education, where it's squirreling away billions for not yet announced reasons. The choice to shortchange healthcare, education, and social services has meant longer waits, too few staff in our schools, and a tougher path through the punishing COVID waves. As Ontarians were demanding more investments, this government chose to sit on resources that could help schools and hospitals. The reasons for this approach remain unclear. The government has not been transparent about their choices to abandon nurses and teachers, but there is growing speculation that the motivation is political. One theory is that the government is planning to unveiling massive corporate tax breaks, rewarding their wealthy donors with huge windfall. Others are suggesting that the government is preparing to announce a lower than expected deficit to aid their re-election efforts this summer. whatever their reason is for holding back on this badly needed resources, it amounts to an abdication of their responsibility to protect Ontarians during the pandemic. We could have been using the unallocated funds to initiate a hiring list to employ more nurses, more PSWs, teachers, personal support workers. Instead, devastating lockdowns were longer and more painful than they had to be. Between 2021 and 2024, the FAO calculated a whopping 9.3 billion funding shortfall in healthcare, another 717 million short in children's and social services, and 905 million shortfall in education and post-secondary. As individuals and families struggle, the government has chosen to treat pandemic funding like a shell game to the determinant of everyone except their wealthiest benefactors. When the legislature returns later this month, the government will have a lot to answer for. I will be sure to demand that they invest in the priorities important to our community: healthcare, education, affordable housing, long-term care, and supports for seniors, and aid for small businesses, climate change, reconciliation, and respect for workers, just for you to name, and more, also for social services, for disabilities, for ODSP, and welfare. There are many issues facing this province, and the government must put forward the resources and vision to deal with these concerns now. Folks who are joining also on Instagram, welcome, and Glad asked me, how are you doing? I'm doing fine, and thank you for joining. And folks, thank you for those who are joining on Instagram, and thank you also those who are joining also and Facebook as well. Another independent agency of the Ontario Legislature is raising concerns about the government's approach to spending, and we talked about that already. I'm not going to repeat that again, and so forth. So I think this required a lot of transparency, and I've talked about all of that already, and I'm not going to repeat myself. So this is also, folks, I'm going to also check it also the comments of others as well quickly, and I think Valerie says this books would also be fabulous for daycares and schools. Yeah, it's beautiful. You can get it, your copy, scribbles opposite of my office, close to here in Western Road, and also Little Avenue. You can check there, folks. Or you can order travelingfitbooks.com. Welcome, folks, joining also there. And Valerie says that doctor recruitment is a desperate need across the country. Many doctors I have spoke to say the Canadian government's recruitments for foreign doctors to practice in Canada are unreasonable. Well, I mean, that's a very good point, Valerie. And I think what has happened for many governments, liberals and conservatives, is that they have messed up our healthcare system, and we need to put more resources with regard to recruitments. I think what we need is, and I've said also, I started this also starting with folks from our colleges and universities. For example, Valerie, our young people who are colleges and universities, they need experience, and when they graduate, they ask experiences. And how are you going to gain experience if you are not given the opportunity to have internship, co-ops, and placements? That's why I have put the motion for work integrated learning to put young people that they cannot work for free, so that they're given a paid internships, co-ops, and placements. And this is the same thing also, doctors who are, trained doctors to practice in Canada. We need, as soon as they arrive, we need them to immediately prepare them into putting them through the exams, through our system, and then making sure that they also have placements, co-ops, and also internships. So they are immediately transitioned to practice quickly into our system. That's what is really missing. And also experience, all experience matter. Not only experiences that you gain here, but experiences you gain outside of Canada. Coming back, that experience is also means a lot. That should be also counted as well. And we need to make sure we need more people to work in the healthcare system, doctors, nurses, PSWs. We need these, and we need to work also the nurses, the doctors, and folks to make things better, And thank you, Valerie, for that. And Brout and says here, my friend, I will call him Proud. How about that? And we don't have enough spots for domestic doctors. We need to train them first. Well, I think that's a good point, and I think to train them, we have to also take more students, in the also in also a family practice, and I think that's why we need to also give more spaces, students, local students who are graduating from high schools here to go into a medical schools, and that way having more spaces, I think also making it also attraction for family doctors as well. That's also a very good point, as you mentioned. Well, thank you. I appreciate it for your comments there. And also Frank said, he's replying to a discussion that's already going on, and also Frank is doing that. That's fine. Well, thank you. And I think it's important. I think what's important is that also that we have a better government, folks, and government that puts people first, that thinks about this province, that also listens to people, and also make sure that our system is working. It doesn't make sense when young people, when they graduate from colleges and universities, and they have up to their debt, and it takes them to learn an employment, a job, 5 years, 10 years. I mean, there's something wrong. We can do better. We can actually integrate work and school. And we can also make, because school and work are inseparable, and that's why I called for work integrated learning, and that motion was passed in 2019. I have called for 27,000 positions for internships, for co-ops and placements that are paid by students, so they gain the experience, they get to know their middle managers, their field of study. They will be able to learn employment as soon as they graduate. And that's the key to education, to path to employment. And that's why we need to think about how we can provide to work integrated learning, and also providing also those folks that we attract to immigrate to Canada. They are the brightest, and because our immigration is tough, we don't take everybody. They have a system that is called point system, and that point system, you have to be highly educated. Unlike the United States, where they say, give me your poor, they take illiterate, in America, but we want highly educated people. If that is the case, and we have promised them to come here, then we have to have the system in place to support them, to provide them transition into internships, co-ops, and placements, so that we have a system in place to provide them that experience and transition them to a full employment. And I think that is the way to do that. And NDP government will change a lot of things, because we need to make sure that we have to look things of all angles and make sure that we are providing people the experiences they need, that we're also investing healthcare, not cuts. And this government have been doing a lot of cuts in education, in healthcare, and you name it. And we have seen also these bills, Bill 124, that we have called for repealing it. And because, you can't have both ways. You will say, these essential workers, frontline workers are heroes, champions. But again, what you will do? You will turn around and then you introduce bills like 124. To me, that is unacceptable. And we can do better, folks. We have seen also the last 15 years. We have seen a Liberal headed by Dalton McGuinty and Kathleen Wynne. We've seen the mess they've made in our community. We became an afterthought. We never had a strong voice. Everything I have been doing since I've been elected, June 7, has been fighting for this community, getting resources and fighting to stop, this afterthought. So we have to get respect, and that we get resources in this community, like any other community. It was unacceptable. It took 7 months to get a testing center in our community. And finally, we got it 200 Church Street. It took that long for me to fight for the community. And we know also the history of the getting vaccinations. That was also a slow process. But we couldn't wait, the government. We partnered with the community, with public health, Unison, Black Greek Community Health, Humber River Hospital, and others. And, we then went to senior buildings, to communities, and we delivered vaccines, first doses, the second doses, and slowly then the government came, giving us many pop-ups, and that was good, but it took slow process, and that was also unacceptable. That's why, folks, we need an NDP government. We need strong voice that listens to you and also delivers services and programs. So these are important to me, because this is our community. And because I've lived here over 20 years, over 21 years, folks. And we need to make sure we stop these afterthoughts. And Valerie says, once again, thank you for your emails. Well, thank you, Valerie, and mentioning for that. And that's important, folks. Folks, those who are just joining us, thank you for reminding me that, Valerie, because I send folks a newsletter twice a week. That is Mondays, every Monday and every Thursday, to update you the work we're doing at the legislature and in the community, also to share with you what's happening in the community. Any announcements, any informations about the members of the community to share with you. And if you haven't been receiving my newsletter, you can actually subscribe. You can go to fhassan.ca, faisalhassan.ca, that's my website, and you could go newsletter, and there you can subscribe. And by subscribing, then you'll be able to receive updates every Monday and every Thursdays, so that you also connect with me to what we do. And then I'll be joining you also every Friday to also summarize for you what we have done in the week, so that we can also update you. And also it will be opportunity, if you have not sent me an email or phoned me at the office, then an opportunity to connect you to hear if you have any concerns as well, or just also sharing your thoughts with the community as well. And that's also a very important. And I thank you, Valerie, for thank you for reading them, and thank you for also mentioning this evening. Folks, those who have just joining, this is your member provincial parliament, Faisal Hassan, You join me every Friday from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. And remember, folks, this was started at the beginning of the pandemic. And this lockdown started March 13 when the Premier Ford called the lockdown. And from there, we have begun to meet with you, to come to you, your forum, to talk to you. At the beginning, we started at Saturday from 3 to 4 p.m. And then many of you have actually said Friday is better. Friday evening is much better. And I'm happy that that we switched to Friday because it does make sense. Friday evening from 7 to 7 to 8 p.m. to hear. And if you missed it, and many of you are going to miss it, but you can still go back and check it on the YouTube, on my Facebook, on my Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram. So, you'll be able to connect when you have a free time. You can actually watch it again. And that's very important that we stay connected. And I know that also this year, it's an election year. Our election is fixed, and election day is June 2nd. I think it will be 111 days from today. And we need to have a better government. We have seen the last 15 years, Liberals under Dalton McGuinty and Kathleen Wynne. And that was a horrible 15 years. And by the privatization, we've seen it of hydro, making hydro unaffordable. We have seen also Bill 1, I just talked about tonight, Bill 115, targeting teachers. And the court's decision also, it took, that long, teachers to get justice. But I think it also led, the little gains, the last minute, Kathleen Wynne brought about the minimum wage or 3 days basic days. That was also too late. And then as soon as Ford Conservatives came, they just cancelled it. And remember, in that election also, Kathleen Wynne said, don't give the NDP government, give us some seats. And that's also basically that led Ford being elected. Folks, this election, make sure we go all the way NDP so that it doesn't happen again. The same things that Kathleen Wynne did. So we would go all the way to elect NDP government so that we can afford another 4 years of Ford Conservatives, because we don't want more cuts, more chaos as we've seen now. We need a government that listens and a government that puts people first, invests resources, that the community needs. And folks, that is an important election we're going to have, and I want you to get involved. If you have the time, sign up on my website, ysw Ontario NDP. You can sign up as a volunteer there. You can donate. You can mobilize your neighbors, and also make sure that the NDP government wins big this coming election. And it's an important election that it doesn't happen what Kathleen did the last minute, last time, saying that give us some seats, expecting that they had a chance, but they didn't. Everybody knew that. But it led, many ridings so close, the NDP are losing few, votes. But this is an opportunity, this election, June 2nd, for you guys to get involved so we could have a housing plan, long-term care plan, climate change, dealing with issues of disability, dealing with also youth and opportunities. I think this time, the ballot box is going to be a leadership. And that leadership will be provided by leader Andrea Horvath to move this province forward and put the people of Ontario and give them confidence. People need confidence in their government, a transparent government, accountable government, and also to put people first. Last comment I'm going to take is the Valerie, and Valerie says, we need leaders like yourself that are compassionate towards children. Cutbacks to education and healthcare affects children. Thank you very much, Valerie, and thank you, folks, to each and every one of you. And if I wasn't able to read your comments, I apologize, and because it was packed night tonight, because I wasn't with you last Friday, so I wanted to update you all that, and also an excitement also convention we had last week, and also the inspiring also speech my leader, and getting also over 85% a vote of confidence, and that's exciting opportunity, folks. And also getting the Ontario Federation of Labor's president's endorsement, and entire Labor moving all the way, Andrea Horvath and NDP. That was a great news, folks. I will be seeing you again next week, folks, at the same time, Friday from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Until then, I thank you, each and every one of you, for joining tonight, for sharing your comments, and for listening. Thank you. Take care. Take care of each other. Wash your hands, and make sure you look after your family and yourself. Okay, folks? Thank you. At the meantime, folks, if you want to contact me, you can reach me fhassan -co at ndp.on.ca. You can phone me 416-243-7984. Thank you, Valerie. Thank you, everybody. And Valerie says, good night and God bless. God bless, folks. Thank you. See you then next Friday from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Ciao.